We're going to kick off with something really enjoyable. Leave it to the Australian media, not U.S. media, not our liberal leftist lunatics in the American media. Leave it to the media in Australia to actually call out Kamala Harris for years of treasonous disservice in covering for old Joe Biden's mental decline. Kamala tried to serve her usual dish of cold word salad as a defense, and Australian Broadcasting Corporation's Sarah Ferguson, she's awesome, just wasn't having it. In the first part of this clip, Kamala tries to distract from a question about Joe Biden by, of course, talking about Trump. That's what they all do. Ferguson says, nice try, By the way, the U.S. mainstream media, I know you forgot, but this is what's called journalism.
Wasn't Joe Biden then, to put it on him, wasn't his refusal to recognize his own frailties the reason that you faced a nearly impossible task?
I ran against Donald Trump for president. And Donald Trump ran on a platform that was, in large part, I believe, misrepresenting his intentions to the American people. You combine that misrepresentation of intention with also what was at play in terms of massive amounts of mis and disinformation.
Now, forgive me.
And a truncated calendar in terms of the clock.
I want to interrupt you because that is a world-class pivot, but it is not the question that I asked you, which is about Joe Biden's failure to recognize his own frailties and what that did to you. The question is about Joe Biden. Are you still reluctant to criticize the former president?
In what regard, please?
Well, just in terms of that question. So you went on.
What exactly would you like to ask? Be more specific, if you don't mind.
Was it Joe Biden's decision, his failure to recognize his own frailties in that position, that put you in the position that made it almost impossible to win that race?
He was not frail as president of the United States.
But he had frailties. We all saw the debate.
I do believe that Joe Biden had the capacity to be president of the United States, and I have never doubted that he had the capacity to be president of the United States.
Told you're going to like it. Like I said, highly enjoyable. Clearly, Kamala Harris must have signed some sort of agreement. I don't know. Maybe she's not allowed to tell the truth because some kind of agreement must have been made, because she not only makes that ridiculous statement that Joe Biden was fit to be president and then even for another 4 years, which is clearly a lie, but she keeps on going, which is probably in line with that deal she made with, either the devil or the Democrat Party, because they're one and the same.
If you want to talk about whether he had the ability to endure what a race for president of the United States would require in that political environment in 2024, as I've said in the book, I had concerns.
I'm just wondering, is there a reason why you won't go to that prolonged frailty question? Now, we saw the debate, we saw the difficulty he had marshalling his thoughts.
I have answered that question. I do not believe that
I think it's just hard watching the debate to see how there could not be a problem long term with someone who can't marshal their thoughts. I'm not saying his acuity wasn't present.
I talked about that in the book. And I also mentioned the context in which that debate occurred. And you'll probably remember how I talked about that in terms of what his travel schedule had been, that what he had been enduring in terms of the timing of that debate. I talk about it extensively in the book. I'm not shying away from that. That's why I wrote it in the book, because I do know it's a question people had.
You know, here's the problem. It takes an Australian journalist to hold her accountable for the lies that she puts up. She said the same thing when she was running for president, when asked, was Joe Biden capable of being president when she was running? And she said the same thing. It was travel schedule. That's BS. The debate against Trump, where he got absolutely slaughtered, happened 10 days after he returned from his European trip or world trip, wherever he was, and they still said he was too tired to debate 10 days later. If he's too tired to debate 10 days later, he's too tired to be president for 1 minute.